What Hollywood? I'm not Hollywood. This movie was not meant to change the world. It was a simple story. Criticism is criticism. You know, people find a way to attack. It's a little story about two people just talking.
Hello Monaco, hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest, Nick Vallelonga. We welcome you, Nick, in Monte Carlo.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. Very nice.
Nick is an American actor. He's a screenwriter, film producer and director, and he's well known for co-writing and producing the Green Book, a movie which was awarded with 2 Academy Awards, 2 Oscars.
The movie got 3. Mahershala Ali won Best Supporting Actor, and then myself and Brian Curry and Peter Farrelly Best Screenplay, and then we also won Best Picture.
Yeah, and you also won Golden Globes in the same category.
2 Golden Globes, yeah. Actually, I think 3 Golden Globes too. Yeah. Yes, in the same categories.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What brings you to Monaco?
I came to Monaco for the this year's the 18th annual Monte Carlo Comedy Film Festival, hosted by Ezio Greggio. I was here last year, and it was a very nice event. This year they honored many people, but Chaz Palminteri, actor, writer, A Bronx Tale, Usual Suspects, a lot of big films. He was honored here, and I came with him to present him with the award.
What do you prefer personally, drama or comedy?
You know, I get asked that a lot. I think I don't prefer either one, but who doesn't like to laugh? You love to laugh, and I think during these times, it's better to laugh.
Laughing and sense of humor depends on like country, nationality, traditions, a lot of things.
Last time I brought a film which will be released this summer called The Comeback Trail. It was written and directed by a good friend of mine, George Gallo, who was first known for Midnight Run with Robert De Niro. And this Comeback Trail had Robert De Niro, Tommy Lee Jones, Morgan Freeman, Zach Braff, a lot of good actors. Very funny movie, but it was the first time showing it was at last year's festival here. And it was a French audience, Italian audience, it was mixed, like you said. So it was interesting to see if it would still be funny. And everyone was laughing. They played it in English, but with I think, Italian and French subtitles or something. And laughing, laughing, laughing. And I think a good comedy could make everyone laugh. But you need an audience. It was nice to see an audience laughing again together in a movie theater. So that was interesting, because some things are not funny. You don't know if they're going to get it, like you said. But in that case, it worked very, very nice. And this is a comedy festival, and I think people enjoyed the films, and people need to laugh now, so it was nice.
Actually, Nick, you came from the acting family, yeah? Because your father was an actor also.
Yes, my father, if you saw the movie Green Book, he wasn't always an actor. He did lots of different jobs. He bounced around. He was a bouncer. He was a maitre d'. He ran restaurants. He ran some hotels. We owned a pizzeria growing up. But when he was working at the Copacabana nightclub in New York City, was during the time they were doing The Godfather, and the director and the casting people were there at the Copa. They saw my father, and they said, "You have to be in this movie, The Godfather." They said, "Are you an actor?" And he said, "Oh, yes, yes," but he wasn't. That was my father. Yeah, of course I'm an actor. So they put him in the movie, and they said, "Do you have children? We need kids for this wedding scene, a big wedding scene," if you remember at the beginning of The Godfather. So my brother and I screen tested. I was, I think, 11 or 12 something, and my brother was 8 or 9. And then I was in the wedding scenes of The Godfather too. But my father, that was his first movie, and then people saw him, started asking him to be in more movies. So then he becomes an actor, and he ended up with a very big role on The Sopranos TV series. He played Carmine Lupitazzi, who was the New York Don, the Don of New York City on The Sopranos. So it was he had quite a fun time, and all of a sudden he was an actor.
Can I say that as Ford Coppola was your godfather in the movie industry?
Absolutely. Francis Ford Coppola, amazing. To be in that movie, The Godfather, it was the first time. I loved movies anyway, and then to see how a movie was made with the lights, with the cameras. I was sitting at a wall, and all of a sudden they take the wall away. I said, how could that be? It's fake. So I was fascinated by everything and how they made the movie. And actually, I was running around wherever the camera was. I'd be like, trying to be in front of the camera, this camera. Then I'd walk. So after a couple days, they grabbed me. They brought me to Francis Ford Coppola. And he said, you may not understand this, but I watch every day what we film. 'Cause I see you more than I see anyone. You're always where the camera is. He goes, you can't be over here and then be over there at the same time. He said, so today, I need you behind the camera. And they actually got me a chair. He goes, I want you to sit next to me so I know where you are. And they got me a director's chair to sit next to Francis Ford Coppola when he's directing the movie. Well, that's how I fell in love with it, and that's how I always wanted to make movies. So, yes, I owe a lot to Francis Ford Coppola. I can make 10 movies about my father. There are things I didn't put in that movie. But my father was a dancer. He was a champion dancer when he was young, 2 girls at a time, flipping them around. He was a hairdresser. After he came out of the Army, he becomes a hairdresser for the Rockettes in Radio City Music Hall. So he had he was a big thug, this big guy, maybe like me, you'd think, but he had much artistic
Soul, yeah?
soul, yes. So, but he went back to work at the Copa after the time with Don Shirley, and it was a few years later that they met him for The Godfather. So he had it in him. He at times wanted to think he wanted to be an actor, but he thought, oh, I could never do this. And then when they asked him to be in The Godfather, he loved it too, and then he started to pursue. And he had lots of roles with Martin Scorsese. He was in several movies, in other movies, TV shows, until The Sopranos when he was older. And then it was a very big show and very big character. So he had it in him too. So he always encouraged me to do it. It was never like, no, don't do that. It was always, you want to do it, then do it. Do it 100% and do your best. And you want to write, then write. And be serious about it. So my father and my mother encouraged me to pursue it.
You were just 5 years old when this, I would say, famous meeting between your father, Tony Leap, and Donald Shirley happened.
Yes.
And but why it take you so long time to make this movie?
Well, there's a bunch of reasons why. I always wanted to do it, and when I got old enough to start taping my father telling me the stories, he said, well, if you're really going to do this, you have to speak to Donald Shirley. So I started speaking to him, and he was very generous telling me, but he didn't want, there were a couple things he didn't want. He didn't want it to be about his life. He only wanted to give me the information about his time with my father. Because a lot of people would say, oh, why isn't the movie more about him? But that's not what he wanted. So I had to listen to what he asked me to do. So he also said, I don't want this story told while I'm still alive. So whenever it may be, you tell it afterwards. And there might be several reasons about that. So I respected what he asked. And so I had to wait. I always had it. Luckily, he lived a nice, long life. My father lived a nice, long life. And they both passed away in the year 2013. So it was then that before that, I told the story to a couple of people. People wanted to make the movie. Well, change it. Don't use his name. Make it something else. And I never wanted to do that because I thought he deserved the respect to have it be his name. People hear about his music, who he was. It was about my father and how my father's life changed because of this and how he changed his views about people and about prejudice and racism. I still want to respect Don Shirley, so I waited, and then around 2013 is when I started to really put it together, and then eventually we got it made.
I read like some reviews. You were criticized by it because
Yes.
a lot of people don't understand like how the two men from absolutely different cultural background, even like have a different color of the skin, you know. And I would say one was a virtuoso pianist, another one was just a driver, yeah, and how they really might have the relationship, friendly relationship, and you were criticized by it, yeah?
Yes, a lot of criticism about it, but you know, people don't understand things, you know, and if there were some things I couldn't say and couldn't do because Don Shirley asked me, no, but they don't want to hear that. Some people say, oh, it's so simple story, it's fake, he makes it up. I didn't make it up. It's true. I have tons of proof. And believe me, I had to show this proof to a lot of people, but Peter Farrelly knew it was true, the director, when he wanted to direct it. My friend Brian Curry, who brought it to Peter Farrelly, knew it was true, and I knew it was true. So, of course, there's some things for example, that trip took 1.5 years. We combined it to 2 months. We took the best stories that happened over the course of that time. But it was a story about two people from opposite people that come together. It was a simple story. Oh, they treat racism so simple. Oh, the white man helps the black man. I don't know. Were you watching the same movie as I watched? Dr. Shirley helped my father. My father was a certain way. He grew up in his environment, and this changed him when he went on this trip and he saw how Dr. Shirley was being treated, and he saw that African Americans were treated in the South. It did change him. Even that was criticized. Oh, he can't change it. No, people can change. Their hearts can change. Their minds can change. And that's if you communicate. Different cultures. There's differences all over the world. Different religions, different cultures. As long as it's peaceful, we can overcome those differences. We may still disagree, but we can understand. Because I think the bottom line of that movie is everyone is the same. And if we communicate and we take the time to understand and talk, you can change your heart and your mind. You may not, this movie was not meant to change the world. It was a simple story about my father. But it took on a deeper meaning because as the film is very powerful and it affects people. So we were very careful of how we made it, from how the script was written to how Pete directed the film, what the actors brought to the film. Criticism is criticism. You know, people find a way to attack things. I don't know why, but we made it with the best intentions from our hearts to make a nice story and to show people this is a little slice of life. It's a little story about two people just talking. Because if you break that movie down, it's two people sitting in a car talking. A lot of people said, no one's ever going to watch this movie. It's not a movie. They talk in a car, but they talk about a lot of good things, and they affected each other's lives. Especially my father's life was really, really changed by it, and I think it did touch people because it wouldn't have won the awards that it did, and it wouldn't have affected people. When I went to the screenings, and we all went and see people cry and laugh together, and say this is an important movie. That's what it was about for us, and not to win awards, but just to make a nice film. So,
it looks like that your father's career, your father's life is really American dream, because
yes.
to start from he was born in a, like, I would say, not very wealthy family,
Right.
yeah, from the Bronx,
Right.
yeah, and finally he became a famous actor, you know.
Yes.
That is like American dream.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, I would say for the Donald Shirley, that was not an American dream, because even if he was very well known, I would say, virtuoso pianist, live like perform in Carnegie Hall, live on the top of Carnegie Hall in a very like luxurious apartment.
Yes.
finally, he did not. He had all this kind of, I would say, racism issue during his whole life.
Yes.
That means that is like a two different story. One is like really American dream, another one showed America from absolutely different, not very, I would say, bright side. Yeah.
Listen, Donald Shirley had an amazing life. I mean, I don't think he was dealing with that every day, but he was dealing with it. He accomplished the American dream, though, in the sense that he overcame a lot. He wasn't raised in a rich family either. So his talent and his determination and his work ethic, that's all part of the American dream, that you have the opportunity to go from where he did to live on top of Carnegie Hall, quite an achievement, especially at that time. So he achieved a lot, but he also dealt with a lot. He went through, as you see in the films. I mean, that was just a little slice. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this went on their tour went on a year and a half. He was going to work with him some more, but he was going to go to Europe. And my mother said, no, you can't go. But Don Shirley was dealing with that his whole life, but also he enjoyed success as an artist amongst his peers. I mean, everyone said he was the best. I mean, when we made the film, people like Quincy Jones, Harry Belafonte, they all knew Donald Shirley, and they said it was a great depiction of him. And they said he was a musical genius. So he had his success as well, but like you said, he did have to still fight against prejudice and racism his whole life.
Yeah, it's really, I would say, it's some kind of very, for me, very awkward situation. The man who has a personal number of Kennedy and at the same time not allowed to go to eat with white people in the same place.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy situation, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But...
That's why I always thought this was an amazing story. I mean, people think I just, I don't know what they think, the critics, when they almost think we planned it or Hollywood made this easy. What Hollywood? I'm not Hollywood. I mean, even though I'm an actor, I'm more independent film. I didn't make it on a big scale. I worked, but I always had other jobs. I never made it big. So it wasn't a planned thing. And we just wrote the story as it is. We told the best story. But I knew it had all these elements. It was unbelievable to me that he couldn't go to the hotel, or he's playing in a place and he can't eat. When my father would tell me these stories, I couldn't believe it. So that's what we wanted to show in the film. A lot of people think we manipulated or made it up, but I said it then too. When you watch the movie with a big audience and you see them emotionally get involved, whether they're laughing or crying, and that film makes you do both, I think, you can't make that up. Like I said to people that think I made things up, I can't manipulate. If I could do that, I'd be the biggest filmmaker of all time. If I could manipulate emotions, I think people felt things because it came from a base of truth. And I think when you see what happened to them, you feel it. You really feel it. So again, that's what was unbelievable about it. I always thought, this had so many elements. They were an odd couple, different people, clash, but yet, as that was broken away, you see they're human beings, and they both could connect. And that's what did it to my father. When he saw what Don Shirley had to go through, he was outraged. That's why he wanted to punch people. He wanted to fight for him. So I think that's what made it the story. That's why Pete Farrelly was attracted to it, I believe, and won a bunch of awards. So I guess most people like it. It's one of those things like Army Buddies, or once you go through an experience like that, you're connected forever. Yeah,
in the previous answer you said, like, I'm not a part of Hollywood, but you are. Now, since you have,
I guess now,
since
yes.
you got an Oscar, you're the part of Hollywood,
yes.
you
Whether I like
say
it or
no.
not. Yes.
Yeah, and how did you feel when you received this prize? What does it mean for you?
It was a bittersweet because we were under a lot of criticism. There was a lot of fighting at that time with the movies. I'd never seen this before, that, movies attacking other movies. And I was just honored to be there. I come from a background. I was an athlete on a small scale. Baseball, you win the game, and sometimes you lose the game. I never thought about, I must win this. It was just nice to be. I said, oh, it sounds corny, but the award for me was getting that film made with such amazing people involved and it getting seen. I thought, okay, I accomplished something, nice honor to honor my parents and my father that's there forever. Then this award campaign happened, and it was like, wow, this is becomes this massive thing, and I was surprised at all the attacks that were going on amongst the films. So, winning, it was amazing. Now I think about it now. The odds of that, who would ever think? So the night of that, though, I didn't. I don't know. It was odd for me personally because everything that happened, I didn't expect anything. So when it happened, I was happy, as you must be. But I think about it more now than I did then because it just sort of, whoop, it happened. And next thing I know, I'm holding 2 statues. But it's an amazing honor, amazing achievement, and I'm glad that the film did that because I think everyone worked so hard. It touched so many people. So despite you're talking about things you read, criticisms, hey, we won. Okay, what can I say? The people who voted, voted.
Yeah, the life in Hollywood, yeah, it's ups and downs all the time. Of course, I can imagine how do you overcome the ups, but how do you overcome the downs? Do you have any approach how to get back on track?
Well, I had lots of ups and downs. I made some small movies. I would act, but then I'd go back to do another job. I work in a nightclub. Do whatever you have to do to work. You have to. I used to feel, listen, I can't. Everybody gets there. Sometimes you think, oh, maybe I should give this up. And I had that several times. I used to think it, but deep down, I knew I'm not going to give up. That's not who I am. But I also, I think my goal was not, I must win an Academy Award. My goal was to work. This is what I love to do. If I can work, I'm happy. So I think it's this particular thing. You're relying on other people to hire you. And I used to think, I can't rely on that. I have to make my own work. I'll write my own script. I'll try to raise money and make my own movie. And even though some of those were small, not big success, it still leads to other things. You meet people, you learn, you grow as whatever type of artist you are. So I always just said, I'm going to keep doing this. With the understanding, hey, but I may have to make pizza one day. Who knows? As long as you're trying, I think it's all a learning experience. So the only way to get through it, to me, the downs, is work hard, keep writing, keep trying, keep doing it. But you have to be grounded and say, but you may have to drive an Uber for a while. That's just reality. That's the way it is, Hollywood. Not everybody is going to be Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And even them, they worked hard for what they did. They succeeded. But not everyone's going to reach that success. So I never thought of it, oh, I have to be a star, I have to make it. I never thought of that. I just thought, this is what I love to do, so I would like to work. And it was always about just working hard.
You met a lot of celebrities, real stars, yeah? And what was the most memorable collaboration? And why?
I've got a chance to work with a lot of great people that I either, you were the word idolize or admired or wanted to, from a kid, again, being in The Godfather, to meet Al Pacino and Francis Ford Coppola and Diane Keaton and James Caan and all the people in that. And then getting older, guys like Sylvester Stallone who inspired me. John Travolta, just getting a chance to meet some of the people that motivated you to work hard. that's what I loved about it, that I got the chance to work with them. I might be doing something with Stallone, a project. I worked with John Travolta on a couple things, and I'd love to work with him again. So to get the opportunity to say, wow, I'm working with the people that motivated me to do this. Even Chaz Palminteri, who they honored this year at the festival, he was another guy who worked hard, much similar background to me, wrote something about his father and him, and that was almost 30 years ago, but that inspired me too, very, very much inspired me. So
what does it mean for you? What does it mean for you, Monaco? How do you describe it?
oh, it's everything you think and hear about all the years, you know, it's a magical place. Very, very magical. And, you know, I remember growing up in Grace Kelly and Monaco and the Grand Prix, and so to actually be here, it doesn't let you down, let's put it that way. It's as good as you dream that it is. So it's quite an honor to be here. I got to meet the Prince last time I was here. Amazing man, very, very courteous, very nice, welcoming. You can understand why this country and Monte Carlo, why people want to come. Amazing place.
Wishing you the big success for all your new projects.
Thank you very much.
And I hope we will see you very soon in Monte Carlo again.
Yes, I mean, who doesn't want to come to Monte Carlo? It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And thank you for having me here. This was fantastic. What Hollywood? I'm not Hollywood. What Hollywood? I'm not Hollywood. This movie was not meant to change the world. It was a simple story. Criticism is criticism. You know, people find a way to attack. It's a little story about two people just talking.
Nick Vallelonga. He's a screenwriter, film producer and director, and he's well known for co-writing and producing the Green Book, a movie which was awarded with 2 Academy Awards, 2 Oscars.
3 Golden Globes too,
Yeah.
yes, in the same category. The film is very powerful and it affects people. We took the best stories that happened over the course of that time. But it was a story about 2 people from opposite people that come together. It was a simple story. No, people can change, their hearts can change, their minds can change. I've got a chance to work with a lot of great people that I either, you know, you were the word idolize, or to meet Al Pacino and Francis Ford Coppola, Diane Keaton, John Travolta, guys like Sylvester Stallone who inspired me. They saw my father and they said, you have to be in this movie, The Godfather. They said, are you an actor? And he said, oh yes, but he wasn't. That was my father. Yeah, of course I'm an actor. If you remember at the beginning of The Godfather. So my brother and I screen tested, and then I was in the wedding scenes of The Godfather too.
Can I say that as Ford Coppola was your godfather in the movie industry?
Absolutely. And he said, you may not understand this, but I watch every day what we film. I see you more than I see anyone. You're always where the camera is. He goes, you can't be over here and then be over there at the same time. He said, so today, I need you behind the camera. And they actually got me a chair. He goes, I want you to sit next to me so I know where you are. And they got me a director's chair to sit next to Francis Ford Coppola when he's directing the movie. Winning It was amazing. My goal was not, I must win an Academy Award. My goal was to work. This is what I love to do. If I can work, I'm happy. The only way to get through it, to me, the downs, is work hard. Keep writing. Keep trying. Keep doing it. That's just reality. That's the way it is, Hollywood. Not everybody is going to be Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.